Hi everyone. How many of you have something like this hidden away in one of your drawers or cupboards? This is this is full of washi tape. Do you remember when we used to put washi tape on all our cards and envelopes? It was so much fun. Now I just have this huge collection that I never seem to use. In fact, the only thing I use them for, holding down my dies when I'm running them through my die cut machine. So anyway, welcome. Thank you so much for joining me. My name is Gillian Rouge and I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. And today I'm going to be going a little retro and making some faux washi tape and some fun cards. So today I'm going to be using this lovely paper. You can see mine is well used already, and this is called Frames and Florals. And it's a really fun paper because it's a little bit different from our regular designer series paper. It actually has three double-sided sheets of paper like we normally get in a designer series pack. It's 12 by 12, so this is the front and then this is the back. But then it also has, and I saved these to show you what your page, some kind of what it will look like. Anyway, you get these three sheets of kind of like ephemera, I want to call it. So one sheet is like this, where each of these you could use as a card front. This one actually has like a frame. This middle part pops out, and the same with these two. But then you also get 2 pages full of ephemera, and I'll show you the kind of things that you get. So you get some lovely big wreaths, and I've seen people making all kinds of really beautiful cards and projects with these. And then you get lots of small little pieces, florals and sprigs and lots of little tiny flowers, all kinds of good stuff. So this is the card that we're going to make today, or I'm going to make today. I'm going to show you how to make. And so I've used designer series paper, but I've put my own little touches to them. So let's get started, shall we? So what I've got is 3 of pieces of the designer series paper. This normally comes 12 by 12, but I've cut it down to 6 by 6, and I'm actually going to cut each one of them in half. And that way we have 6 pieces. So these are 6 by 6, and I can cut them all together on my trimmer because the paper's fairly thin. And I'm just going to cut them. In fact, hold on a second. Let me look at the direction that I want to go. Okay, so I want to cut that one down that way. Yeah, I think we are good. I wanted to look at the direction that I'm cutting because some of them are directional. So then I'm going to cut these 3 by 3, just like that. And so now we've got, I've got 6 pieces. So I've got 1, 2, 3, and then 4, 5, 6. So I wanted to have some gold in my washi tape, because right now everything is just non-metallic. So and I thought that would be fun to introduce some gold, some sparkle into the card. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make this into some green and gold plaid. So I've got my sketched pad stamp set, and I'm really lazy when I do this. I just leave it in the case. I find this is really easy. You can definitely use a stamp positioner, but I'm going to take my embossing buddy and just rub that all over, and my Versamark ink. And sorry about the state of I meant to grab a different ink pad, but sorry about the state of this one, but it still works. And I don't really need to ink it all up, so I'm just going to ink part of it, and I don't even mind if it's not quite perfect. And then I'm going to put this, let's see, how do I want to line it up? And then I'm going to take a piece of plain paper and I'm just going to lay it over the top, and so that I can give this a really good rub. Like that. Take that off, and I can put my stamp away. Then I'll bring in my gold embossing powder. Put the lid on my Versamark there. Bring in my gold embossing powder. And in fact, what I can do here is I can just slide this like this. Like that, and get it all almost in one foul swoop there. I like to keep my embossing powder in a bigger container. I find it's a little bit easier. See, I missed a bit there, but that's okay. I'm not too worried about that. Like I said, it doesn't have to be perfect. So let's heat emboss this. I've got a little clothespin I'm going to use to hold on to it. And let's grab my heat gun. And the nice thing about the glass mat, as you can see I'm using the glass mat, is that it's heat proof, so I don't have to worry about damaging anything, any surface. So let's get this heat embossed. All right, there's that done. So I'm going to put that to one side. And now I'm going to add some embossing to a couple of the other pieces. So I'm going to do some heat embossing on this one and on this one. Okay, so bring back in my Versamark, and this time I've got a couple of stamps. I've got, let me see if I can show you which stamp sets they came from. So really you could just go through your stamp sets and find some little images, like this is one that I'm going to use. I've got embossing powder all over my fingers, and this one is from the Country Bird House, this one, and you could use, even this little flower would be cute. So just go and find some, even something like this, just to add a little bit of bling to your paper. So I'm just going to do some kind of random stamping here. Some can go off the edge. And then I'll put some powder on and I'll see if I need to do any more. I just want to, I'm going to cut this into strips. So I just want to make sure that every strip is going to have a little bit of gold, but it doesn't have to be covered. Again, I can just do my little trick where I just scoop up a bunch carefully. You have to be careful doing this or you end up with a big mess. So that actually looks pretty good, I think. Okay, so I'll put that to one side. Then I'm going to grab this piece and I'm going to use this little stamp. And I'm just going to do a few, I'm not going to do so much on this. I'm just kind of turning it a little bit so that it's not always in the same direction. Okay, that's all we need embossing, so I can put away my powder, put away my Versamark, embossing body and my stamps, and let's grab my little clothespin again and get these heat embossed. Okay, that's those both done. Okay, so the next thing is to cut everything into strips. So let me bring back my trimmer, and I apologize if there's some weird, if you hear my dog barking or there's some weird transitions. She's looking out the window and barking at people that go by, and so I keep having to pause the video while she and then repeat. So I do apologize if there's some weird kind of transitions that you see, but it's because of her. So first of all, I'm going to take these three that don't have any embossing on them, and I'm going to cut them into strips, and I'm just gonna do random widths. So I would go like no less than like a quarter or a 3/8 up to maybe like half or even like 5/8. But I'm doing just kind of random strips. Let's see, we'll do another wide one. And then we'll do so that's those. So we'll put those, and I'm just going to keep little piles once they're cut. I know they're off screen at the moment, I'll bring them back. So this one I'm going to try and cut so that I have kind of two, like a chevron pattern. So I'm going to line up my trimmer, and there's where it's going to cut, and it's going to cut right between, hopefully, these two. See how I've got like just this chevron pattern there. So I'm going to try and do that for a few more, making sure that I'm keeping my paper straight, so that the width is right, because these are kind of not quite like even, they're like hand drawn. That's probably enough, so I'll put that to one side. And then this one, I'm going to get like 2 rows of stars. Washi tape generally is, you know, is fairly kind of uniform. If there's a design like this on the florals, I don't have to really worry. So we'll do 3 of those, that's good. Okay, and then I'm just going to do exactly the same with these 2. So I'll do these quickly. And on this last plaid piece, I am going to try and kind of think about how I want this cut. So I'm going to cut one kind of right to the left of this gold line here, like that. So that's quite a wide one. And I wanted actually just to get this, these horizontal ones, so I'm going to actually trim off, because I'll show you that on the card that I just made. I kind of like how that looked. So let's see if I can. So I've got a strip like this that I can use then, and then we'll just do like a skinny one. And then I think I'll go from this side. Do a wider one. And that's probably good for right now. All right, so that's all the pieces done. So here they all are. And now we can start on the actual assembling the actual card. So actually, let me bring back in the card again a moment to show you. The first thing we're going to do is the sentiment. And normally when people make cards like this, they leave a gap for the sentiment, and then you've got to worry about getting the sentiment straight. So what I thought it would be easier to do is to actually do the sentiment first and then build everything else around it, and that way we don't have to worry about, because you know there's nothing more more frustrating than getting the whole card made and then you do the sentiment and you mess up. So I've got my Stamparatus here, and I've got a piece of basic white cardstock which is 3 3/4 across by 5 inches, and I'm just going to put that in my Stamparatus with one of my magnets. And I've removed the mat from underneath because I'm actually going to use a stamp from this Sweetly Scripted stamp set, and I'm going to use the Happy Birthday. So let me just pull that out. And I'm just going to position that. So let me look at that other card. So I'm going to position it just at an angle. It doesn't really matter. You can do it wherever you like. But what I am going to do is make sure that the words are actually kind of to the right, because I want to leave enough room here for some embellishments. And I'm actually going to even go like a little bit further over to the right, I think, on this card. So I think about there is good. And then I'll grab my Memento Black ink. And you don't have to use a stamp position if you don't have one. But this way I can stamp once if I don't get a really good image the first time. And I've got a little tiny splodge. I think I'm going to flip. I don't know if you can see that, but I think I'm going to flip it over and do it again. Can you see that little tiny splodge on the P? I don't know what happened there. But I think I'm going to just flip it over and try again. So let's see, do I have something? Maybe I had a little speck of dust or something. Let's just try that again. So yes, if you don't have a stamp positioner, you can obviously just stamp this on using an acrylic block. But this way, if I don't get a great image the first time, that's better, much better. And I'm happy with that. So I can pull that out, put that away. And that's the only stamping, apart from the inside of the card, that I'm going to do. So let's pull this back. Now, it's just a matter of arranging the washi tape onto the card. So, what I forgot to do also, I grabbed a piece of, you can see this is just a scrap of gold foil, and on the back I put adhesive sheets. I don't know if you can see that. It's got adhesive sheet, it kind of ends there. And then I just cut some narrow strips. Now, you could definitely put adhesive strips on all of these before you cut them into strips. But that would use a lot of adhesive sheets. And they're pretty easy to, adhere to your card. But, and I'm going to cut some really narrow. But you know what it's like if you get liquid glue on gold foil. Gold foil and liquid glue are not friends, are they? So I'm just going to cut, this one's about 1/8 of an inch, and then I cut one like slightly narrower. So I think I'll go for another 1/8. So I thought this would really help if I put liquid glue on the back. I mean, not liquid glue, sorry, adhesive sheets on the back. So there's my gold. So I'm going to start out with those. Let me grab my scissors. So I'm going to put a gold piece. So I'm just going to cut like approximately how long? Just a little bit longer. And I'll take this piece and do the same here. And then I'm going to lay out what colors, arrange how I want them. So I'm actually just going to copy my sample. That way I don't have to fiddle around and have you watching while I fiddle around trying to decide what I want to do. So, but basically I just wanted to do some of a more solid image followed by a floral one. I kind of tried to alternate where I had the gold versus no gold. So this is where I kind of like this this gold one here, and then one of these maybe, and then down here let's do another one of these. And you could do this with any designer series paper. So if you don't have this, look to see what you do have. And if some of the sheets are fairly plain, then think about how you could embellish them and just make them a bit prettier. So let's do a skinny one of these. Decide which way up it's going to go. And then we'll do one of these. And I'm just going to eyeball the gaps. I'm not too worried about if I have a big gap or a little gap. Let's see. Haven't used this one yet, have we? Did we use this one already? I don't think so. So we'll do that one there. So I'm going to scoot these off, but keep them in the same order so I remember. And I'll do the same with these. And then I'm going to attach my gold pieces first. So the hardest part is actually removing the backing. That wasn't too bad. And the nice thing about this adhesive sheet, sorry about my head in the way there, is that it's quite forgiving. So you can kind of line it up, and then if you're not quite happy with it, you can pull it off and it won't really stick until you've pressed it down firmly. So that looks good to me. And I'm just eyeballing this. If you do horizontal pieces, then it's much more important to kind of measure, make things sure you have things even. But if you're doing them at an angle like this, it's kind of easier on the eye, and it doesn't matter so much if you don't have them perfect. That looks pretty good, don't you think? All right, so now I can start building in these other pieces. So let's start at the top. And I'm going to do this piece. So I'm just going to use I can actually, let me move these out of the way so I have a bit more room here. So you've got plenty left to make another card. Whoops, I've got those out of order, but that's all right. Right, so this one first. So I'm using Stampin' Seal, but you could use liquid glue or tear and tape, whatever you like here. So this one, again, sorry about my head. Just trying to make sure I get stuff somewhat even. And then we're going to do this one, which has our little gold dots. And when you get like up where you need shorter pieces, you can cut them down. I'm going to do this way round so I get more of the gold. You can cut them down so you're not putting adhesive on the whole strip, then you can save them for another card. And I've got lots of examples to show you. Well, not lots, I've got another 3 examples to show you, so don't go anywhere. Stick around. Then I'm going to do this one. So here now I could, let's see, I can just come in. I'll just do the whole piece. I'm going to put the adhesive kind of towards the middle. And we can go at the end and add a little bit more adhesive. I've got a fine tip liquid glue if I think that I need to add a bit more. And here I'm just going to cut off some because I don't need to do the whole piece. I'm going to be going off the top of the picture soon. Bring that down in a minute. There's that one. And then I've just got a little, so I think what I'll do is I'll do this piece, probably end at the top and the bottom with the same piece, which is fine. And then I'm going to just do exactly the same. I'm going to pick this up and move it a little bit. Actually, this is fine, you'll be able to see it. Let me do it a little bit straighter because that's kind of making me crazy. But I'm going to just do exactly the same to the bottom half. I'm going to see, I'm wondering if I should put another little piece there. Let's see, which one could I use? Maybe this one. I just need a teeny, I'm not sure if I really need it. I'm just gonna put a tiny, tiny piece right here. Right, okay. Now, let's lift this up. If you like, you can use a silicone mat here, and then stuff won't stick to it so much. You see that little piece has come off. Let's see if I can. In fact, maybe I'll do that at the end. I'll worry about that. I may not even need it. So now you've got a couple of ways. You can use a trimmer here, or you can cut by hand. What I like to do, if you have one of those little, like a guillotine trimmer, that's what works best. So I'm just going to kind of rough cut some of these pieces, and you might have to clean your scissors afterwards because they're going to get a little gluey, a little sticky. And then some of these bigger pieces you can keep if you like for another project, and then these little pieces we'll just throw those away. So I have this little guillotine trimmer that was like a promotional item. I think it was like a sign. If you signed up to be a demonstrator, you got one a long, long time ago. And mine obviously needs cleaning. But you can use this, and you can just line up your edge carefully. Oops, I didn't get a very... I wonder why that didn't usually get a nice clean edge. There we go. And then you get a nice clean edge, cleaner than if you were to use scissors, but scissors are fine. I wouldn't use our Stampin' Up trimmer because that kind of trimmer you might catch some of the, so I'm just kind of putting my finger to make sure that I've got the cardstock lined up against the edge. You might just need to do a couple of passes through. And again, I've got a nice clean edge there. And then but you can, let me show you. You can just use your scissors. If you have a nice long pair with long blades, like this pair that I got on, it's a Tim Holtz tonic pair. These work really well for something like this. You can just go along and trim. And I've got a pretty clean edge there. I've got a little tiny bit showing that I can go. But or if you just have your snips, then just use those. You know, use what you have. And if it's not quite perfect by the time it's all put together, no one's going to notice. Okay, as you can see, I had a little, as you saw, I had a little trouble with that little corner piece, and I ended up using a different pattern of thinner paper, which was easier to attach. So then I've still got all these extra pieces that I can add to my stash to make lots of other cards, and I'm going to show you some other samples, but let's get this one finished. All right, so here's my card base that I'm going to use. So I'm using Pretty Peacock and Soft Sea Foam, which are two of the colours in this designer series paper. There's also Garden Green and Granny Apple Green, I think, and Petal Pink. I think that's it. Oh, Lost Lagoon. So lots of really lovely colours, all my favourite colours. So this piece is just 1/8 bigger than this one. I'll put all the measurements in the description, but it's the Pretty Peacock layer is 3 7/8 wide by 5 1/8 tall. And I should have checked this, but before I put glue on, but I think that's fine. And then I've got a Soft Sea Foam base that's just a regular card base. It's 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. So I like to attach this first and then decorate. So then Let me bring in back in the other one to show you what I did. So I have all these pieces. I put my extra strips in here too. So let's find what else would work. Let's see here. So we've got lots of different kind of florals and leaves. This might be pretty. Let's see, I think there's a bigger one. What about this? Oh, now this might work with something else maybe. Let's see, what else could we do? So I've got these pieces. Or even two of these. Put some things like this. So anyway, you can just play around. I'll have a play around. And this one's pretty, but it might be too big. I don't want to cut off too much. I'm just pulling out all the ones. This is what I did. This is the one I used. But I want to do something different. So I'll have a play around and I'll speed it up or fast forward, and then I'll come back when I've decided what I'm going to use. So I'll be back in a moment. So that's what I came up with. I hope you like it, but you can see I have still all these hundreds of pieces left to make lots more cards. And then what I did to finish this one off is I grabbed a little linen thread, all right, which I have right here. And I can tie a quick bow. And I can put it, let's see, I think I might do a larger one and have it kind of poking out from underneath. I'm kind of boring with my linen thread. I did think there's some, we have some petal pink ribbon, I'll show that to you, but I did think, oh, I should have used that. So I think I will poke that down it like that. Yeah, I'll make it just a touch smaller. Oops. I'll put this under here. Kind of like that. And then just to finish off, I grabbed this metallic enamel effects basics gold, and this comes in a 3-pack, gold, bronze and silver. And I just finished off the centers of the flowers, so I'll just have one on here. I don't know that there's anywhere else I want to put one. And I'm just going to test this out. Let me see if I have a piece of scrap paper handy. How this will work. And I always do a test one to make sure I don't get any bubbles. And then what I do is I squeeze it and I go kind of a little round in circles. I should have done this before that. No, I should have done the linen thread first, otherwise I would have messed this up. So I'm just going to do a little dot in the center of the flower. And these will flatten out as they dry. So that's that one. I like how that one turned out. And if you're worried it's not going to fit in the envelope, you can, I think that'll be fine, but you could trim it just a touch. This one I had to trim quite a bit of the flower off, so actually I like this, how this one came out better. I'm happy with that. So that's those two. So let me show you some others that I made, and I'll kind of walk you through quickly how I made them. I'm going to push these up here just a little bit, and then I'll bring them back down. Yeah. So this one, I just did 3 strips budded up together, and then a gold strip along the top of the bottom, a really skinny gold one. And what I did is I laid my piece of white on my glass mat here, and then I even actually put a little adhesive on the back, and then I could use my grid to make sure that my that I put it on straight. I think maybe one of my pieces is not quite the same width all the way along, because it looks like it's going up a bit there, but anyway, you get the idea. And then I just punched out a circle from soft sea foam, and I used a stamp, and I just went through my stamp sets to pull out some different sentiments, whatever worked for the card. I always can use lots of birthday cards and lots of thank you cards. So this one, I will show you the stamp sets I used in just a second. So that's that one. Oh, and I did finish the insides off, and of course you can use the strips on the inside too. So that's thank you so much. This one I put happy birthday, hoping you have the best day ever. And this sentiment is from the birdhouse set. And then, excuse me, I have this one. This one I kept pretty simple. I actually didn't use any of the other embellishments, but I tore my paper, so it really does look like washi tape. I tore it and kind of just did an arrangement here, some with the dots and the gold and some without. And then this is one of those papers. So it's actually this paper. I had some left that I didn't, that I hadn't embossed. So I just stamped my greeting on that, and then again I tore it a little bit. Oh, and I used that same dot stamp to do some dots in the background in petal pink and soft sea foam, and again the embellishments. And this one inside, I used the same stamp set, hoping you have the best day ever, and then one of the strips. And then the last one I did, which is this one, which I think this may be my favorite, actually, this one or the first one. But I love the soft colors on this and this here. So again, I just used the glass mat to make sure I had everything pretty much straight, and I did gaps on this one between the strips, whereas this one I budded them up close to each other. And then I did a little bit of that same stamp, that same little background, the little dots, in some gold just underneath to add a little bit of interest. Added this with dimensionals, another little linen bow, and then some of the gold dots. So words fail to express my gratitude. Thank you so much. And this is from the Zinnia stamp set. So let me bring them all back in, see if I can fit them all in, and you'll have to let me know which is your favorite and if this is something you would try. Again, I think you could do this with all kinds of different paper. Can't quite fit them all, but you get the idea. Let me show you the other stamp sets really quick. So yes, so Everyday Details, already showed you this. That was the little dots. Country Birdhouse was Hope You Have the Best Day Ever. And there was one more, I think, but I don't remember. I don't have it, but it's the one that thank you came from. It's called like Everyday Greetings or something like that. Oh, this happy birthday is from Beach Day, you know, the one that has the surfers and the lifeguard stand. And you know where this one is from. So anyway, thank you so much for joining me. I hope this is a technique that you will try. If you would like to purchase this, any of these products, I'll list them below, and my website is at the top right there. If you don't have a demonstrator, I would love to be your demonstrator, so please go to my store and order all your lovely products, and I look forward to seeing you again. Make sure you like and subscribe my video too, please. Thank you so much. Bye for now.